Hi, welcome back to Just Like Grandma's and Then Some with me, Helen Ann. Hi, how you doing? And in case you're wondering, I live in Canada. Actually, I live in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and this weekend's Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving from us here in Cape Breton. And today we're going to make homemade pumpkin pie. And actually this is a recipe that my dad used to make. So we're going to start with making our dough first. And this actually is the recipe from the cookbook. But I'll show you all that stuff when we are listed down below. So you have all the ingredients you need in that. So what you're first going to need for your dough, you need a big bowl. Definitely a big bowl. And you need cold water. The key to making this pastry is cold water. So I'm just going to pour some cold water in there. Going to add some salt to it. And normally you would put brown sugar in here for that recipe, but I'm trying to do it the healthy way, so I'm going to put a little bit of honey in there. You could probably use, I need a spoon. You could probably also use like maple syrup. My brain kind of froze there. So you want to see, just try to make it melt or just combine. So put that aside once you have that the way you like it. And we are going to be using the coconut flour again today, but we learned from last time that coconut flour, it really absorbs water. So I am going to be putting coconut flour as well as regular all-purpose flour in this mix. So I'm just going to grab a cup and put a cup in there, and I got regular flour over here, and that's just my oven telling me that it's preheated to 400 degrees. And I'm putting about a cup and a half. I just put a regular flour in there. Okay, put that over there, and I'm using butter instead of shortening to make it a little bit healthier. And I'm using a cup of butter, unsalted butter. Definitely use, if you're baking anything, use unsalted butter, because you control the salt that's in your stuff when you do that. Now I'm just gonna, this has been at room temperature, so see, it's nice and easily mixed there. And to start off, I'm going to take my pastry blender and I am going to make it into a crumble. And every once in a while, get all the stuff out of it, the butter, because you want to make it pea size. And if you don't have one of these, don't worry about it. That's quite all right, because you can use your hands or a fork, because I will be putting my hands in here in a little while. But I'll tell you what, we'll be back as soon as I get this to the consistency that I want it at before I put the water in. So we'll be right back. Hi, we're back. And this is the consistency that I wanted it at. You have some little bigger pieces than others, but that's okay, because it'll add to a nice flaky crust. And as you can see, that our honey did melt, which is fantastic. Take that out. Now what you're going to do with this now, you're going to add a little bit at a time. And this is when it gets dirty, so I had to take my ring off. And we want to do this gently because this stuff is, pie dough is a bit fussy. And Marley's going to help by adding some more water into it for us.
I'm trying to look at the camera and look at the bowl at the same time, so I do it.
It's all good, it's all good.
I apologize in advance if the camera goes off to the side for a little bit.
It's alright.
Just trying to make sure I don't pour water everywhere.
Well, that's alright. It needs more. Because basically we want this to come to a nice dough. And we just want a tad more water in there. Okay, perfect. Now we'll get every last little bit up.
There's still some water in here.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, you're not going to use all of it.
Okay.
But it's always good to make a little bit more than what you're going to need. Because, you know, you never know, anything's possible. That you may need all that water. Okay, now perfect. That's into a ball. And now I'm going to, you can put that in the sink. It's all good, it's all good.
Slightly heavy.
Yeah. Especially when you're a left-handed, not a right-handed.
Yeah.
I'm the righty.
I'm the lefty.
Yeah. So, take it out of the bowl, put it down on your surface here, and while it's here, you're going to just knead it a little bit more. And actually, Marley, can you take my jewelry off? Thank you.
I just made flour go all over myself. I'm so sorry, people watching the video.
That's okay. I didn't wear my apron today. As you can see, I do get flour on me when I'm baking. Actually, that's not too bad.
I just like shook the camera. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. It's all good. It's live, so really,
The struggle.
you know, it's all okay. Okay. Now, as you can see, this turned out beautiful. Like this. So now, since it's like this, and we did use the butter, but even if you use shortening, you still need to put it in the fridge. So I'm going to put it on parchment paper.
Hopefully.
No, but go on parchment paper. Put a little bit of flour down. Man, that dough turned out really good. I like that.
It literally looks perfect.
Amazing. Shocking sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're going to put this in the fridge. Really, you only want it to get cold so the butter will tighten up again. And actually, as I do that, we're going to be right back because we're going to make our filling while this is in the fridge. So I'll be right back. Hi, we're back. So now we're going to make the main ingredients, which is our filling. Now, I use actual pumpkin that I get at around this time of year, and I actually carve it, cook it, measure it all out, and I put it in freezer bags and throw it in the freezer, so I have it all year round. And you can, if you want, you can strain it out so it's not watery or anything, but I don't feel like doing that, so I'm not going to do that. Plain and simple. But I am putting it all in there. So that can go in there, that can go in there. Now, the recipe calls for sugar. Well, I'm using honey again. Because we want to try to make it as natural and healthy as we can, especially when that is actual pumpkin. And when I do get an actual pumpkin, I will show you how to cut it all up, cook it, and have it ready for being frozen. So we're doing that, and it calls for slightly beaten eggs. So we're going to go slightly, slightly, slightly. That's 3 slightly beaten eggs. We're going to throw them in. Half a teaspoon of salt. Throw that in there too. Now, it calls for cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and cloves. Or you can turn around and use pumpkin pie spice because it has all the stuff in it that you need. So, to make it the way that I like it, the only one that fits in here is the half a teaspoon. So I'm putting 2 teaspoons in here. So that's 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, or well, now it's 2 teaspoons, there we go. Put that in there, beautiful. And it calls for canned cream, 6 ounces of evaporated milk. Well, I'm using coconut milk, and actually this is coconut milk that was in the fridge, so it's thicker. So I'm putting that in it. That is actually 6 ounces, which equals up to 3/4 of a cup. And now I'm using, I just opened this today, more coconut milk, and we're using, oops, well, we need a cup and a quarter. So that's going in there. That over there. Don't need that no more. And our 1/4 of a cup. Throw it in there. Perfect. And we still have some left over. And I'm going to try and experiment with that after. I love experimenting. Okay, and now I'm going to, you don't have to put it on in the mixer if you don't want to. You can just hand mix it, but this is a lot faster. So all I'm doing is just incorporating everything. So it's just getting all mixed up in there. Looking beautiful. Now this recipe actually will do 2 9-inch pie tins, but I'm using a 10-inch, so all this is going to go into one pie. And we'll be right back when I start getting the dough ready.